Hello, and welcome to Sex Talk 101. On today's Sex Files, we'll be talking to Peppermint. Let's take a look. Who's after Peppermint? Hey, Peppermint!
Hey, girl!
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, girl. I feel so good to finally see you face to face. Kind of, you know.
I know I kind of look strange. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, so I wasn't getting in full drag yet because I have to be in drag all day tonight. So I was like, let me put on a little boy androgynous beat for you and my expensive, extravagant faux fur.
Trinity serving male fashions. Okay.
Let's just get into it. I want to know a funny sex story of yours.
Oh, I don't know how fun it is, but a long time ago, years and years ago, a long time far away, I was doing drag weekly at the bar, and there was this fellow that would come around, really, really cute, so handsome, obviously seemed like a straight dude, you know, kind of rough around the edges, really macho, basically my type.
That's what we call trade.
Rough trade, darling, rough trade. And so we got to talking, and I had a crush on him hard. Like, I was like crushing on him. And he would come back around and be like, oh my God, there he is. So one day I invite him over. I'm like, you know what? Let's get to know each other. This is like pre-Netflix and chill, but it would have been Netflix and chill. He came on over and I was dressed in like a patent leather outfit. I just felt so sexy. And he was like feeling it big time. Long story short, we moved to the bed and we start making out, and it is hot and heavy and very, very sexy, if I say so myself. I'm turned on, he's turned on, everybody's turned on, and it's good. I mean, everybody as in just the two of us. That was me going after your drag race line. I'm confused, Peppermint's confused, or everybody's confused.
Yeah.
And so we're making out, we're doing our thing, and then let's just say if we were in sleepaway camp, okay, then I would usually take the bottom bunk.
Okay, I get what you're throwing.
And so that was what I was expecting. That's what it was. And sometimes people do different things. That's fine. People like to sleep on different bunks. And so he asked me if we could switch. And I was like, surprise, surprise, surprise.
I'm confused. Peppermint's confused. We're all confused. And if you are confused about anal sex, we have Professor Tucker who's going to explain. Professor, take it away. Anal sex. Sexual activity involving penetration of the anus. Anal sex can be very pleasurable if performed appropriately and responsibly. For instance, inside the anus, there's something called the anal gland, which in contact the right way can be very pleasurable. Here's some do's and don'ts when engaging in anal sex. Do's: proper hygiene prep is a must. Douching is the best way to prepare for anal sex. Using lubricant can make it much more pleasurable for both parties. Now the don'ts. Don't just put something in without warming up to it first. Absolutely do not try this without your partner's consent. I sure hope this helped. Back to you. Surprise, surprise. A booty hole can do many a things. Thank you, Professor, for teaching the children. Let's continue.
There's several reasons why automatic instant switching is not good. I think A, you don't have a chance to prepare, and B, you don't have a chance to prepare. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yes.
And so I know he wasn't prepared, and I obviously was, but I was like, okay, let's try this. Because I really wanted to please him. I would have just done anything to please him. I wanted to make sure that he was having a good time. I was just into it. Like, whatever.
You'd be putting fists and arms and legs and furniture all up in there if that's what he wanted.
And that's what I want. And so we switched. I took my time and everything was okay. And of course, my biggest fear was that it would get a little messy and that, you know, he hadn't had a chance to kind of rinse out. So we could have some unexpected moments, and that's fine. They happen. So we're doing our thing, and I mean, I'm not used to sleeping on the top bunk, let's say, so I wasn't that comfortable. And so afterwards, and you know, we used the condom and everything like that. This was before there was PrEP. And so afterwards, we're laying in bed. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay. So he goes, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's been there for 10 minutes now. What is he doing? And of course, I'm like, when he leaves, I put on more makeup. I fluff up my hair. I'm like, what's going on? Is he okay? Are you okay in there?
Why are you putting on blush? Are you okay, sweetie? Are you okay?
Are you okay, darling? And so, you know, I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, he's probably like, you know, really going to the bathroom, and you know, maybe that's a thing that you would feel after having sex if you're not used to it. Because I could tell this was kind of new for him. And by the way, I just have to say that I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible. The sleeping bag was like a little tight. I couldn't all the way fit into his sleeping bag. I don't know if that's his sleeping bag was too small and tight, or I'm just a bigger girl.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. And so he comes out of the bathroom, everything's all hunky-dory, gets back in the bed, cuddle, everything's cool. So me being a little curious, I'm like, well, now I gotta go to the bathroom. So I get up and I'm like looking, and of course I like, you know when somebody else has fully used your bathroom.
Now, did you go in there because he's rough trade and you're like, what did he steal?
Well, I had my eye on him, and I have cameras, darling. No, no, I didn't have no cameras. That was my fantasy. Of course, I'm thinking, what did he steal something? What did he do? And then next thing I'm thinking, like, okay, he must have really had to go to the bathroom. So like, I'm looking around for evidence of like, you know, is there less toilet paper on the roll? What's going, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I want to know what he took so long in there doing. And so on my way out of the bathroom, like in some people's houses, you have the linens up in the bathroom, the nice ones that you're really not supposed to use, and then you have the ratty ones.
The nice ones are the ones just for decoration, girl. Don't really use them.
So I had these nice white decoration towels up, and don't you know, there was all these red marks on the towel, like blood. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Was the sleeping bag that tight?
Did you murder him?
Girl, I know. I was like, did he get cut? What happened? Like, there's blood here. It's a little alarming. It's not what I expect to see. It's definitely not what I expect to see on my white linens.
My nice, good linen.
Hello. And so I go back in and I'm like, did you know, is everything all right? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, did you have like an accident or anything? He's like, oh no, everything's fine. He completely ignored it. And I was like, well, where did that blood come from on the towels? And he's like, I don't know, what blood? I was like, what? So I never got a chance to solve the mystery. Needless to say, we never hooked up again. I don't have the towels anymore. I threw them out, just in case you're curious.
Now when you have gentlemen over at your house, do you hide the good linens?
No, girl. I take out the good linens. I put down plastic. I put up anything temporary I can. You ain't using no towel. Here's a paper towel. That's it. You get one.
I just can't imagine. Well, you know, damn, he said your linens, right?
He said your linens, honey. My linens?
Well, thank you so much for joining me today on Sex Talk 101. That was really funny.
Thank you, mama.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, I wish that boy would ruin my good linens, bitch. And then want to lie about it? No, ma'am. Anyway, I hope you learned something today on Sex Talk 101. Until next time, goodbye.